your recommendations to owners or spa directors now who, for instance, in the UK, were hoping to reopen in January and now have to face a third lockdown, and other owners and spa directors around the world that say, high times of uncertainty. We closed, reopened, closed again, reopened again. How can I best work on the business, on my business, if I'm an owner or a spa director today, according to you?
Well, I think there's two things, and I think it's a difficult question because it's very different for hotel spas than it is for owner-operated spas and salons. We had several times in my business life, not just with ESPA, but with my previous business, where we went through economic crisis, where we went through personal crisis and so on. And always we then hunkered right down. So I think hanging on to your cash as much as you can, you have to be ruthless. As much as we want to hang on to our staff, if they're furloughed, at least then we can concentrate on some training, which I'll come on to in a minute. But I think really, really keeping the cash tight, because we might be in this for a long haul. The second thing is, I think the industry, it's great that the industry comes together. It's great that the industry supports each other, but we shouldn't be following like sheep. We have to lead. And as fast as these trends come onto the market, or somebody like myself starts talking about them, everybody jumps on the bandwagon. And each individual culture, each individual business is different. And I think knowing your customer in times like this is really important. Number one, I think you have to keep it small, you have to keep it tight. Whatever you do, you have to do really well, and less is more. We can only expect our therapists to learn so fast and do so many things. So I think analyze your therapists and what their skill set is. We've gone through an era, about 10 years really, of trying to be all things to all people. There were many reasons for that, but I think we're now coming into an era of specialization and expertise. So I don't think anymore that the same therapist can do all the things well. So I think identify what your therapists do really well. Ask your consumers, now's a very good opportunity to be phoning them up. I know that everything's technology and everything's online, but find out what those regulars, those ones that come all the time, find out what it is they really need. Some of them just need escapism and a bit of fun. Others, the anxiety levels. I mean, we all know about type 2 diabetes. We know about sleep deprivation. You know, we know about obesity. One of the biggest killers at the moment is Alzheimer's, which has only just really come so much into focus. But with the pandemic, the whole mental wellness anxiety thing is going to be huge. There's more people dying from cancer than there are from COVID. So we've got to address all those things. So there's two things we can do. You can't do it all. You can't be all things to all people. Identify your skill set, identify what your customer really wants, and concentrate on that and do it very well. Those would be obvious things. There's many, many more. Preparing for a risk register, you know, really your protocols and your SOPs and your safety, because if people are going to feel safe, I've got a spa here where my villa is, and they've been amazing. They've let me go in a room where they have a window that's open. One of the stats that I came across through a virologist I was working with is that if you have 5 air changes per hour, you reduce risk by 99%. So we really have to look at whether we've got fresh air. But, you know, even if you're opening doors and letting the fresh air through, I know it's hard in a city where you're underground. We have to look at our systems. So in spite of the business challenge, there's a lot of things that we can get ready for. For several reasons, I'm trying to assess the demand, whether it's going to be there or not, because we're building some wellness resorts and we need to know, are people going to want to be totally private, or do they want to be social as well? The demand is definitely there. There is no question the demand is there, and the demand is going to grow. The problem is going to be whether we have the ability to fill the demand, because obviously if we have to open with limited facilities or half as many treatment rooms, but there's all sorts of tips, but I think don't try to be too clever. So I always think, look at the trends at the beginning of the year, decide, are any of these really relevant to my business? Are they really relevant to my consumers? Are my consumers really going to want these? And if not, then disregard them and you drive your business. I love that we're inclusive as an industry now, that we've got the Global Wellness Summit, we've got ESPA, we've got Professional Sport, we've got all these organizations, and we all follow readily and we all love each other and we're all great at empathy with each other. But we don't always think about our consumer, our customer, and our profitability, how we're managing that business. It can all be a bit airy-fairy sometimes. So I think focus, 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 training, training, training. That's what we've got to do.
Absolutely. If I do a quick recap, hold on to your cash and be extremely financially savvy. To look at your regular guests, the locals, the ones who trust you and have trusted you before COVID-19 and who know there's quality, there's safety, there are regulations, great SOPs that you've implemented before trying to attract new clients, having those regular clients come back with their friends and be ambassadors. There's also a topic that you touched on, which are chronic diseases, non-communicable diseases.